2 weeks ago, Cyclone Pam wreaked havoc when it tore through the Vanuatu archipelago in the South Pacific. Wind speeds reached more than 300 kilometers per hour. 80% of homes were destroyed. Over 160,000 people are now in need of emergency aid. The reconstruction effort is in full swing in the capital, Port Vila. Now and then, even the electricity's back on. But we're told that the situation is more severe in the north, where the cyclone hit first. This is where the worst devastation is. Trees everywhere have been uprooted. Roofs have been blown off the houses along the roadside. Banana plantations have been destroyed. Many of the roads are now inaccessible without a four-wheel drive. It takes us 3 hours to reach Takara, a small fishing village in the northeast. We'd like to talk to the village chief and stop to ask where we can find him. The locals speak Bislama, one of the official languages of Vanuatu. This woman points us in the direction of the beach, which is close by.
Thank you.
Takara has been pretty much devastated by Cyclone Pam. Fields are ravaged, crops wiped out. We want to know if any relief has arrived yet, and whether any reconstruction is underway.
How many buildings are here? How many people are living here in Tamara?
The village chief shows us around. He's only 25. He succeeded his father only a few months ago.
42 households in here. And we've got about...
This recent disaster is a test of his mettle.
This is my dad's house, Chief Amera house. It's gone away, blown down with sea and the hurricane. Just take off the house and we don't know where all the staffs are gone, we don't know.
42 families live in Takara. Just over 300 people. Many of them live off fishing. Others farm the land that the cyclone laid waste to. Only 5 of the village's 42 houses are still standing. All that's left of the others is a few walls. At least no one died, the locals tell us. The village chief explains that floodwater was swept up to a kilometer inland. Many buildings could have withstood the wind, he says, but the water battered everything in its path.
Communicate here for new decisions?
Yeah.
And this
is a house for make decision.
Carlos Nin is a village elder.
When the cyclone struck,
he tells us what he remembers of the moment the storm hit.
My experience is I stay in my house. While I was staying in my house, the cyclone was striking. And the first thing that I heard, one of the roofing flew out from the other building and hit my house. That's the time when I started to find my own way to save my life. So at the time when the cyclone hit blow another roof over and hit my house, I was thinking I was out of my house and safe in other places. So at the time I went up and see one of my family, a man and his son, hiding in their house. So I knocked on the door, and they opened the door, and I went in, and that's where I safe. So 3 of us stay in the house, and at the same time we see the timber moving, and we get the hammer and the nail. We started to nail the timber and some of the things that happen inside the house. And we know that it's safe, we're safe.
It's early in the morning, so the heat is still bearable. In the course of the day, temperatures will go up to over 40 degrees Celsius.
And it's pretty strong.
The village chief takes us to the community center, which miraculously survived more or less intact.
So, this is good material, maybe.
Yes, yes.
This is where locals keep the aid supplies that have arrived so far.
Everything you got from
The chief tells us that for the time being, the aid workers have only brought a few dozen liters of drinking water and 6 tarpaulins.
Tarpaulin? Yeah.
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 100 liters of water?
Yeah, only 100 liters of water. Not enough,
that's
and
the-
untouched it.
That's
family.
here.
He's disappointed by aid organizations and the government, which promised rapid relief. He feels he's been left in the lurch. The water supplies will only last another few days. Roger and his family live close by. His friends are helping him rebuild his home. But he can only get building materials in the capital, and he can't afford them anyway. Roger is a fisherman. He makes his living selling barracudas and tuna. Fortunately, his boat survived the cyclone unscathed. But before he can return to work, the village needs to be cleaned up.
Too many rubbish flying around.
Sand and garbage washed up in the flood is a major problem. In some places, it's half a meter high. Roger is digging his way through the sand in the hope of finding at least some of his and his family's belongings. Everything they owned is buried under the sand.
Just try.
Like spoons and blades and fork and some clothes.
And are you missing some precious things, some things of value as well?
Yeah, like jewelries and for my wife.
Roger and his family are relying on the kindness of others. They have few savings, and the money they do have, they need for food. He's bought rice and fish. One of his daughters finds a photograph that means a lot to him and his wife.
You found it? It's a picture of my family. But she found it and gave it to me.
Everyone here is doing their best to make do and return to normality as soon as possible. But many families are still having to sleep outside. A few tarpaulins have been set up here and there, mainly as protection against the scorching sun. Right now, the most urgent problem is the lack of drinking water.
Not clean enough?
Only a few liters are left. Locals have resorted to boiling water from the nearby river. Roy is one of Roger's neighbors. This is the second severe cyclone he's experienced.
The cyclone just take away my front half of my house, so I try to turn this timber to rebuild back my house again. So there's not enough material, but we try to look for all nail and timber to turn them.
Even children are helping with the reconstruction effort. For example, collecting useful bits and pieces to help rebuild. There's no school for the time being. Every single school in the region was destroyed by Cyclone Pam. Here in Takara, locals think it will take 4 to 6 weeks to repair the worst of the damage. But many families tell us they wonder if it makes sense to rebuild their homes. They're increasingly worried about living so close to the coast. Climate change means water levels are rising. How many more years can the village survive here? The village chief and the village elder know that climate change is a growing threat.
About the weather, and you have the feeling that the weather is changing.
Yeah.
from November up to April is the cyclone season. So at the moment it should be like wet season.
Slowly, but you are experiencing that the sea is coming up. What can you do about that in the future?
Yeah, we're trying to move up to make a new location. So we must stay far from the coast, and that is maybe the sea will cannot come and spoil everything like houses or whatever.
They still hold out hope that climate change can be curbed. Vanuatu's President Baldwin Lonsdale has already warned that if it isn't, Vanuatu might one day become uninhabitable. He said last week that climate change was a key factor in the devastation wrought on the Pacific nation by Super Cyclone Pam. Carlos Nin tells us that hurricanes happen here frequently and that the authorities usually give the villagers plenty of warning. But the full force of this recent cyclone was tragically underestimated.
The weather, like Cyclone Pam, yes, too strong, and it damages everything. Everything goes down. Yeah.
For now, all they can do here in Takara is wait for more aid. And we need to get back to Port Vila. The government has introduced a curfew to prevent looting. 2 weeks after Cyclone Pam struck, Vanuatu is still in a state of emergency.